Chapter 282, The Last Vote, 3. Shouts were heard. Family head. Venomous snake. Until now, the audience had been quietly watching our fight. The Sword Saint had indeed shouted earlier, but that was excusable as an elder deserving of respect. It was natural for outsiders to stay silent during a duel. But now that the duel was over, they rushed in urgently. Stop! You should be the ones unable to stand. And those people immediately split into two opposing sides. On one side was the Death King family, with Estelle at the forefront. She was the Devil King of Fall Rain, a demoness, a daughter, and now an advisor to our family, always ready to counsel me on my rights and wrongs. On the other side were the Oni, led by an Oni clad in a white helmet and full-body suit. This was the leader of the 256-color Oni squadron that had joined at the last battle against the Energy Dragon. What are you trying to block? A bunch of clowns dressed in color-coordinated clothes at their ripe age. And what about you? Going to play cards in all black? You're nothing compared to our RGB code 000000, the real black dash dot. You lack even the sense to create a proper alias. And what's your alias? I was once called the Saintess of the Wilderness, the Devil King of Fall Rain, and a demoness. Now, I'm known as the advisor of the Death King family. Oh, that's actually pretty cool. The Oni squadron leader hesitated, scratching the back of his helmet, but Estelle paid no attention. Therefore, I had to stop Estelle. Estelle. That's enough. No, family head. I cannot. Her immediate response was one of defiance. Wondering if it was a sign of rebellion, I hung my head in mild shock, only to see Estelle gritting her teeth, glaring at the Chenmumun leader. From the beginning, what the Chenmumun leader said to you, family head, was arrogant and rude beyond acceptance. There's always a possibility that you could go astray? Ha! Engulfed in disharmony, slaughtering the common folk and nobles alike, creating a world where the widespread screams of humanity never existed, massacring all humans living under the sun, and gathering only those worthy to survive to create a small paradise. That's the Chenmumun leader. Is that your view of the family head's danger? Yes. The venomous snake barely managed to lift his upper body, supporting himself on the ground. His hand slipped on the grass, plunging into the mud. Damn it! He seemed embarrassed for a moment, but his breathing gradually calmed. He said, "Just as you said. I think your family head is someone who could fall into disharmony at any moment, unleashing an unprecedented massacre on everything under the sun." You. Estelle clenched her teeth. How long have you watched over the family head to say that? Not knowing the people gathered around the family head, what kind of people they are, and with what determination they have taken up the family's flag. Despite all of us swearing to serve the family head with all our life and soul. It's not about that. The venomous snake coughed. He tried to cover a wound on his neck with mud, but it didn't stop bleeding. That's exactly it. What? If your family head falls into disharmony and causes chaos, none of you will be able to stop him. Estelle clenched her fist. Ha! Although I may be fallen, I am the Devil King of Fall Rain. When my tears turn into raindrops and wield the 3,000 ogres, orcs, goblins, and many monsters turn into raindrops and form an army. I'm incomparable to mere swordsmen who have slightly elevated their skills. Yes, you are strong, damn strong. The venomous snake coughed up blood. And then he smirked. But with that, will you stop a family head fallen into disharmony? Yes. Of course. Even if it costs my life. No, that's not it. You have to imagine the specific situation. Did you hear me properly? Huh? We are not talking about just anyone here, we're discussing our own family head, Kim Gongja. The venomous snake looked around. Standing in the middle of the Colosseum, he seemed exhausted, shoulders slumped like an old swordsman. Who is Kim Gongja? Huh? Who is the heavenly demon of our time? Take a good look. He didn't fall into disharmony even when his master died. He simply accepted it with sorrow. Wondering why, among so many deserving death, it had to be his master, right? He could have roared in anger, but he didn't. He just mourned and sent her off on her final journey. You see, he's a tough bastard. Sitting in the middle of the jungle Colosseum, the venomous snake raised his voice. Whether it's the end of the world or witnessing the heart of his most beloved being torn apart, he stays intact. He never falls into disharmony. Firmly grasping his sanity, knowing that losing it means becoming nothing, he survives. No matter how hellish the situation, he remains a man who never succumbs to disharmony. Clap, clap, clap. The venomous snake clapped his hands. Despite having small wounds on his backhand, he seemed to have used his rest time for emergency treatment, as bandages were already in place. Nevertheless, each time he clapped, fresh blood oozed from the not yet healed wounds. An impressive level of endurance. His ability to control his mind is almost superhuman. Miss, what kind of atrocious thing must Kim Gongja see to fall into disharmony? Silence fell. Having seen the world end countless times, that alone wouldn't do it. Even witnessing the world end in a particularly horrible way wouldn't suffice, right? Then, really, the malice of humanity, malice compounded upon malice, crushed together, so vile that just getting close or smelling it makes you think, this is hell. That's what it would take. Only then might Kim Gongja, our family head and the heavenly demon of the demonic cult, completely lose his mind. The venomous snake chuckled. At that time, you, all of you. Can you, his retainers, stop Kim Gongja? Would you even want to? I don't know what kind of hell you'll see then. I can't even imagine. But if it's a hell so terrible that it drives Kim Gongja insane. When he decides to kill all those who created this hell, those who stood by, and those who passed by without caring. The venomous snake looked around the audience. Advisor Estelle, Chief Warrior Aburka, family youngster Kim Yul, head servant Sylvia Evanale. And even the Sword Saint, who hadn't officially joined the family but had volunteered to become a bodyguard. You guys, could you really stop Kim Gongja? We are. Rather, it seems like you'd follow Kim Gongja and kill the bastards who created that hell. With eyes turned inside out. In other words, the entire family, the whole cult, would fall into disharmony and slaughter the entire world. What a picture. The venomous snake grinned. Among them is one who was once a constellation, another who is still an active constellation, a hunter who earned an alias for skillfully defeating constellations, and an apostle who almost destroyed the world using the power of a constellation. The rest of the troops are not ordinary either. They are the elite of the demonic cult who survived the end of the world. Elite. There are at least 1,000 subordinates capable of high-level demonic arts. Thud. The venomous snake picked up a stone and threw it. The stone landed at Estelle's feet. A force that seems capable of easily destroying a world, right? If the heavenly demon falls into disharmony, it's only natural for your entire family to succumb as well. And if you all fall into disharmony and roam the tower, then that's the end. The world will be over. Finished. Thud. The second stone rolled to a stop in front of Aburka's front foot. And then. Death King. Thud. Heavenly Demon. Thud. Hey, Kim Gongja. Thud. You need me. Without me, you're doomed. When you feel like you're about to snap, wondering how someone can create such a hellish reality. How, if they're human, they could at least do the minimum required, and when you start to get angry. When your heart races and blood surges, turning your entire body red with rage. Thud. A small stone flew and tapped the area around my heart, right where the venomous snake had pressed with his fist just moments ago. Looking up, the venomous snake was smirking. I'll be there to restrain you. And if you can't be restrained, I'll kill you. Is that so? And the moment I fall into disharmony and am executed by the venomous snake, the righteous faction wins. No. It means the defeat of the infernal heavens' demonic cult.
Ha!
I laughed. What a long-winded battle this is going to be. 10 years? 20 years? 30 years? Maybe even hundreds of years. Liao Fan. Are you proposing a battle that could last hundreds of years? Yes. The venomous snake laughed. From my perspective, it's like landing a temporary job for a few hundred years, so I'm totally thankful. Yes. All right, Liao Fan. Estelle looked up at me. Family head. Estelle. There's no time limit in a martial duel. To determine whether the infernal heavens or the orthodox faction is correct, my master and the martial alliance leader had to engage in as many as 990 duels. They continued to duel as the world was ending, yet there was no conclusive outcome. There's no need to be hasty. Estelle took a deep breath and spoke as if exhaling fire. The family head will never stray onto the wrong path. Why do you think that? Because that path is one I have already walked. I thought of the clouds mixed with ash and the red rain pouring down. Yes. That's it. Thank you. So, if it seems like you might fall, we all will unite to persuade the family head, even if it means dragging you back by the hair. I trust you. We don't need someone like him. But it's because I can go astray. I stroked Estelle's head. Then, I looked at the venomous snake, roughly wiping his mud-covered face with his hand. Liao Fan. Thank you. I bowed my head. For your efforts for me. For spending time to defeat me. I truly appreciate it. You said you were jealous of me, but that's not an ugly jealousy. You didn't slander me or plot against me. You simply faced me squarely, acknowledging your jealousy, striving to surpass me. I'm ashamed of my own naivety, thinking that by casting the sword of the drowned, I could charm you and dissolve your jealousy. You had already overcome your jealousy long ago. That's impressive. I stood up. It was hard to breathe due to the dent in my heart, the size of a protruding bone in a fist, but I endured and walked towards the venomous snake. Seeing me approach, the venomous snake seemed somewhat tense. Yes. I knew. At this moment, at this time, what I needed to say. It's natural to be tense. When one finally confronts the person they have envied and admired, when they meet eye to eye as equals, what words would they wish to hear from the other? What fervent message would they hope the other would impart? What exactly is needed? As someone who envied and admired Flame Emperor
Yo.
Sue.
Ha!
More than anyone, I understand this. Liao Fan. I tapped Liao Fan's shoulder lightly. You're quite the madman yourself, aren't you? I don't dislike kind madmen. I like them. After all, you even drove your fist into my heart. Really, you've had it tough. You seemed like the protagonist. I smiled broadly. But to strike down my neck when I fall into disharmony, that effort is far from enough, don't you think? Strive harder. Don't neglect your training, that's the key. Liao Fan looked at me in disbelief. Listen to this guy. Man, anyone would think you just won the fight? Hey. Think about the specifics, as you said. You know that combat strength increases when one falls into disharmony. What kind of logic is that? Liao Fan laughed helplessly. I too sat down in front of him and laughed. Let's have a drink. Soon, someone brought over alcohol. Glasses were prepared, filled with liquor. And petals scattered from a branch fluttered down, settling on the table and glasses. Voting completed. The Oni who had been observing the stage made their decision. Vote for option 2, midnight %. Vote for option 1, 100%. Stage cleared. Perhaps what they had been watching wasn't the stage, but rather the clear tears that had flowed down someone's face.
Yeah.
Let's drink. Kim Gongja. He said. You crazy bastard. Like that. The 47th floor stage has been cleared. The final vote was completed. Chapter 283, The Last Vote, 4. We held a banquet. We had almost cleared the 40th floor in a single attempt, and the venomous snake had returned from his solitary training much stronger than imagined. It was enough reason to celebrate. We, the leaders of the 5 great guilds, no longer view a comrade's rapid growth with wariness or fear. Instead, like good friends, we genuinely congratulated each other. Very genuinely, indeed. I've specially made my signature milk cocktail for the Chenmumun leader. Stop it. Stop. Old man sword saint. You know nothing about cocktails. You're like a kitschy dandy who enjoys the ambience of a cocktail bar but ends up drinking only milk because you can't appreciate the taste. Blarg. Here, drink up. It's a cocktail made by a combat power meter. I thought a plain Kahlua milk would be boring, so I mixed in durian juice and espresso with milk. This place is similar to a beach resort in the midst of a jungle, isn't it? Let me measure your romantic power. Bloody.
Ugh.
You whack. Blarg, cough, woo-woo-woo. Romantic power 10,000. 20,000. 50,000. 530,000. It's rising. Youth is a good thing. An old combat power meter like me should just die. Has the medicine king possessed you, you crazy old man? It was an utterly pure chaos. You guys really don't grow up. Is there something wrong with your brain development? The black dragon witch shook her head and enjoyed a modest drinking session with the crusader. The neatly laid picnic mat seemed to imply that those with intelligence below a certain level should not approach. The count was snuggling up to the two, meowing and acting cute on the mat. Peace. Luxury. Elegance. The true grace of a drinking session, subtly flaunted by the black dragon witch. One side is hell, the other heaven. I sipped my orange juice and smiled bitterly. At that moment, a familiar voice suddenly emerged beside me. No. I think both sides are heaven. I turned my head. Below my line of sight, a sweep of white blonde hair glistened. A face that seemed to perfectly embody the ideal, or rather, the idol of a young girl, was there. You always appear out of nowhere, lady. Yep. It's my specialty. The girl cleared her throat and supported her waist with both hands. The lady who walks the mirage has manifested. The lady who walks the mirage. Our guide from the 30th to the 49th floor. Known to others as a constellation, but in reality, she's one of the pillars, the highest authorities in the tower. Most importantly, she's the true daughter of the tower master.
Yay!
Dash. That's amazing. Yep. I've praised the Death King several times already, but still, amazing. Yup. Just like the Ascender I had my eye on. Thump. The lady casually sat down beside me, beaming brightly. Wondering what she was up to this time, I shifted over, yet gazed at her with the eyes of a curious sparrow. What kind of scheme are you plotting this time? Not at all. Nothing. I just came to genuinely praise the Death King. I sighed and sipped my orange juice. The daughter of a certain mother, a constellation and a pillar, giggled beside me. The desire to praise you is sincere. You all did really well. I've seen many towers, but there's never been one where the stage was cleared almost unanimously like here. Never?
Yeah.
The best case I've seen in others was when only one race was ostracized. This is actually a secret you shouldn't know at your current access level, but... The lady shrugged nonchalantly and stretched out her legs. In that tower, the Ascenders had chosen 6 races. From the beginning, they agreed to make one race the scapegoat. Clever, right? Everything was blamed on that race. Floods, droughts, even my lousy life was apparently because of that race. There's a saying, to create allies, you first need an enemy. Those Ascenders, or rather, the challengers of that tower, came up with a proven strategy. By excluding one race, all the other races united thoroughly. And that's the best case scenario? I looked at the lady. Every tower, including this one, is under the Tower Master's curse. The screams, grudges, and deaths boiling up in the tower are all embraced by the Tower Master, who feels their pain in their stead. Such words shouldn't come from a child who asked me to save her mother. Yep. The lady picked up a piece of rice cake and munched on it. Because that one race, called the Witch Race, eventually overthrew the other 5 races. They even defeated the challengers they believed to be gods and crushed the remaining 4. It was a complete upheaval. Yikes. Really? Really? Then, after brainwashing the other races into slave soldiers, they reversed the roles and attacked the lower levels of the tower. The humans who had been relaxing in the rear, trusting only the challengers, were all massacred. They used humans as lab rats. Happy ending. The lady grinned. Ah, by the way, the humans I'm talking about are different from your humans. They looked like toads. Basically, their situation was reversed overnight, and those world's humans, who were treated like gods, became experimental toads in a lab. Unbelievable. Cool, right? The lady kept munching on the rice cake endlessly. Her cheeks puffed up like a hamster. How she manages to enunciate so clearly while her mouth is full is beyond me. That happened about 1,000 years ago. Her eyes turned towards me. Her face, full with rice cake, couldn't look serious, but her eyes were strangely solemn. You have a surprisingly deep connection with them, Death King. I blinked. Really? Think about it. The lady's expression turned serious. You've met them before. Her playfulness was always lingering around her like a scent, but her eyes were like unspoiled gems, earnestly gazing at me. I couldn't easily recall. How could I have met people who challenged the tower 1,000 years ago? Even if it's true, the time gap is. If it's just about living, using aura or magic to live for thousands of years is common. At least it is for stages beyond the 50th floor. You know that from the City of Immortals, right? Suddenly.
Ah.
The hints casually thrown by the lady clicked together in my mind. Sword Emperor. 150 years ago, you demolished one of those demon towers, didn't you? That was when I reached the 50th floor, using means akin to a cheat key to meet the City of Immortals. The 50th floor was entirely different from the stages I had experienced. Dangerous, and more importantly, a terrifying power had seized control of the entire stage. Originally, there were 6 towers, right? But I demolished one of them. This power had an unresolved grudge with my backing, the Sword Emperor. A sworn enemy, so to speak. So, when I imitated the Sword Emperor and shouted, that power immediately reacted. Sword Emperor! I remember the reaction being quite intense. UVE returned, Sword Emperor. I knew you'd come back someday. Is it possession? Reincarnation? Doesn't matter. Anyway, I'll kill you. You, of all people, we will kill. We'll shred your soul and scatter it across the universe, and then defecate on it. Kill him. Kill him. Chase him to hell in the name of the Demon Tower. The sight of hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands of magicians riding brooms and charging at us is something I still can't forget. Shuddering slightly at the memory, I turned to look at the lady. She was beaming innocently. Let's summarize. 1. 1,000 years ago, there was a race that swallowed gods and humans alike, becoming the main players of the tower. 2. This race was called the Witch Race. 3. Coincidentally, for the past 1,000 years, there has been a force on the 50th floor of the tower, reigning supreme over the stage. 4. This force is known as the Demon Tower. 5. The witch race used the races that oppressed them either as slaves or for biological experiments. There were 6 such oppressed races, including the 5 that ostracized the witch race and the toad-like humans of their world. 6. Coincidentally, or rather too coincidentally, the Demon Tower consists of 6 towers. So, the witches I met on the 50th floor of the Demon Tower are the very same witch race. Baba Bang, correct. Bang. The lady set off a birthday celebration firework, seemingly procured from nowhere.
Yay!
As expected of the Death King. It's so much easier to talk when you catch on quickly. Crazy. Just as I was coming to terms with the fact that my fate was intertwined and tangled beyond belief, I realized I had missed an important question. Wait. You mean the main inhabitants of the tower can change? Of course. If the goblin race, for example, went berserk and annihilated all your tower's inhabitants, then from that moment, the main inhabitants of the tower would no longer be humans but goblins. Though, as long as the Death King lives, that's unlikely to happen. The citizens of the Ejim Empire, the people of the apocalypse under Raviel's care. Theoretically, they could replace you all in the tower. It's just that you're currently monopolizing the rankings, so they haven't realized it yet. Rankings. Indeed, currently, only those up to rank 7 could advance to the forefront of the tower. So, if someone from the worlds we've conquered had replaced someone here in the top 7 rankings. Yes. They would be able to climb the tower too. The lady shrugged nonchalantly. But, it's not easy for them to raise their ranking. Why not? Because they're busy fighting every day in their own worlds. Those who have no reason to leave their ground usually have no reason to ascend to the heavens. No matter how strong they are, the tower doesn't pay attention to such individuals. Her words left a strange resonance in my heart. After a moment, the lady shrugged again. But, there could be those who aim for ascension for other reasons. Like the goblins, or should I say, the Azura. The lady smiled with her eyes. Azura are strong. They know one of their own has become a constellation and that there's a higher world out there. Not just that. They've mastered the formidable infernal heavens demonic art and even know how to perform the infernal heavens formation. Those children will quickly rise in the rankings, but that in itself will cause its own set of problems. Was the child, like her mother, inheriting not only playfulness but also a hint of venom? A subtle, sardonic smile, one that seemed to mock and revel in something, flickered in the lady's eyes. What kind of problems? You, Death King, are confident that the goblins will never betray you. So are your comrades. But what about the vast majority of your residents who haven't participated in the conquests? Will they openly welcome the races you suddenly bring home as your children? Hoo. The lady mimicked a playful laugh. What to do? Even if I, the Death King, have a good image and my words might be persuasive, what about the others? Very few people know that the black dragon witch has changed. Maybe only a handful. And even fewer know about the transformation of the heretic questioner, maybe 6 at most. Even if they say, please believe us, will they be believed? What about the venomous snake? The sword saint? Will the people living at the base of the tower trust you? Will they really trust the children you brought with you? I slowly looked around. The noisy buzz of the banquet reached my ears. Regrettably, the durian course ends here. Saved.
Ugh.
I survived. Next is a cocktail made from the body fluids of the snail race and top-grade salt hand-harvested from Slimepolis, mixed into white liquor. Chen Mumun leader. They say you have to drink this one in one go to really appreciate its flavor. Drink up. Isn't that just jelly with salt mixed in? Drink up. Yes. Regardless of age, gender, race, parents, or children, everyone at the banquet was mingling and laughing in their own ways. There was jealousy, admiration, friendship, unripe hopes, and long-brewed sighs, but everyone was looking at each other squarely. Just as the venomous snake did with me, and I with him. When you see a person as a person. I nodded to myself. That's enough. And then, I looked straight into the lady's smiling eyes. I can solve this. Really? More precisely, I can help ensure a solution. Well. I turned my head to look at the black dragon witch. She was playing games with the crusader, not particularly chatting, just looking around with a bored expression. Just then, our eyes met. What are you looking at? The black dragon witch's lips moved. Her face was shaded under the fronds of a palm tree. Despite the distance between us, the telepathic message carried by her aura rang clearly in my ears. Come here for a moment. It's bothersome. Why? I have something important to say to you and the lady. With a sigh, the black dragon witch set down her cup. Before the cup could touch the ground, before her sigh could fully escape, she used instantaneous transfer and appeared right in front of me. What's going on? We have to prepare for an event before heading to the 50th floor. Event? Yes. An event. The black dragon witch tilted her head. The lady looked at me with interest. I spoke slowly, under the gaze of both. Tomorrow. We're going back to the first floor of the tower to hold a vote. A vote? Didn't the votes end with the nobility? No. There's still one last vote remaining. I shook my head. We haven't yet received the votes of the people living in Babylon. Anastasia fell silent. That's right. There's still a truly necessary vote remaining. The 5 great guilds overcame their past divisions and united. The guild leaders, despite the wounds in their hearts, resolved to keep looking forward. It's a good thing. Worthy of celebration. But, it's still just our story. The residents living day-to-day in Babylon don't know this. They are happy and cheering for the unprecedented pace of conquering the stages, supporting the great guilds, but still, invisible problems lurk everywhere. Perhaps, like in some world shown by the Tower Master, a rebellion could break out in the Temple of 10,000, the Black Dragon Witch could be betrayed, and the tower might crumble from within. If we ignore the ordinary people living their lives, they will ignore us in return. We need to talk to each other. No, talking alone is not enough. We need to show them. Make them feel. Allow them to experience. For that reason, this event is absolutely necessary. Anastasia. Please prepare a press conference. Anastasia narrowed her eyebrows. I will hold the second press conference since I became the Death King. Such an event wouldn't be bad. It's a triumph to boast about externally. Allow not just journalists but also the tower's residents to attend freely. Let them ask questions, and I won't dodge any of them. And I looked directly at the Black Dragon Witch. I hope not just me, but all of you will attend. Let's face the people living in Babylon, speak to them frankly and openly. For us to climb the tower together. The Black Dragon Witch remained silent. It was a long silence. Not because there was little to say, but because there was too much to say, a silence endured to suppress the outpouring of words. Therefore, it will be dangerous. The words that came from her lips were inevitably loaded with implication. A normal press conference can be controlled by us. Which newspapers and journalists are allowed, the questions and responses permitted at the conference, the seating arrangements, everything can be meticulously managed by the Black Dragon Guild. But if we allow the residents to ask questions too. I know. Anastasia closed her mouth again, and after a bit more time steeped in silence, she opened her lips. There are many who will try to slander you. Yes. Our guilds have secretly nurtured you as a star. The Death King's achievements are actually the works of the 5 major guilds, but we've intentionally attributed them to the Death King to build up a star. The Death King is merely a marionette, following the directives of the 5 guilds. I know. You're an orphan. You brought your orphanage director to the tower. Because you're an orphan, people will belittle you, casting skewed views because you started taking care of those around you as soon as you ascended. Yes. These people have no right to hurt you. There are many like them. There's no need to create a situation where you might get hurt. There is. I nodded. There is. You know it, don't you? If there's anyone out there wanting to inflict wounds and scars on me, sure, some of them might be petty like the old me. But, Anastasia, this is the consequence of the 5 guilds secretly running the tower for over a decade. I placed my palm over Anastasia's hand. It's not about fabricating lies to hurt me. It's about people who have been treated as non-existent trying to inflict wounds on someone to show that they exist. Hurting entirely the wrong person with completely misplaced wounds. Well. The world is full of irrational things. I smiled. But sometimes, a leader has to take on irrational responsibilities for a while. You made me a leader. I spoke. So now, it's my turn to be the leader of this tower. Director, think about it. Here we go again. If you cut my hair, the hair designer will be happy. They're getting paid without working. They've been called out and are now waiting outside. You said it's disrespectful to the Black Dragon Witch, but she and I are close. This level of disrespect is acceptable. After all. Enough. Enough. Stop. The director was exasperated. Really, when I taught you kids, I shouldn't have held debate classes. All of you are fools at heart, but your tongues are as skilled as figure skaters on ice. Indeed. You're the culprit behind this brat's tongue skills. Behurayon commented, as if he had just solved a decade-old mystery. But since his voice couldn't reach others, the director kept muttering. Kim Han-bija, or should I say, Kim Han-bai, is lying around on broadcasts too. Sometimes I want to sew his lips shut. Kim Han-bija, now known as Kim Han-bai. Who is he exactly? Sounds like a guy who would star in a political spin-off. Definitely a vile politician who deals in threats, violence, and betrayal. So, Kim Gong-ja. Are we really doing this? Yes. What if you look terrible? Don't blame me then. Yes. It's not me making you look bad. It's just revealing the ugliness that's always been there. Isn't that a bit harsh? Relax. Just relax like this. Snip dash. The scissors sliced through my hair. I looked indifferently at the mirror. The director, too, focused expressionlessly on cutting. Watching his earnest effort, I couldn't help but smile faintly, reminded of old times. You used to cut our hair, director. Yes. That's right. Volunteers from a nearby barber shop used to come. Why did you insist on doing it yourself? Volunteer work isn't always free. Sometimes they asked for paperwork, and it felt rude not to treat them well when they came. And you have to give them something for their trouble. If they came from far away, we'd even pay their taxi fare. I thought it'd be better if I learned and did it myself. Snip. Snip. Were you embarrassed? Maybe. I nodded cautiously. It seems so, a little. Because of the other kids at school? Yes. I couldn't even say that our director cut it. That makes sense. Kids that age would be embarrassed even if their parents did it. Surprisingly, young children care a lot about their hair. I think I said an older sister or brother cut it. Yes. That's cruel, isn't it? Kids can be. What? It gets worse as they grow up. Snip. I learned diligently, knowing the kids would be embarrassed. It took about 2 years. I think I got quite good at it, but just the fact that I was cutting hair in the orphanage was a blemish in their minds. Good deeds are always like that. Snip. A clump of black hair fell. Kim Gong-ja, even the best intentions can't overcome the embarrassment felt by the recipient. No matter how hard you try, the recipient won't see the effort you put in. Volunteer work always seems clumsy, and people easily ridicule it. Is that a drawback we have to accept? No. Snip. You need to be more thorough. The sound of hair being cut resembled the slicing of silk. Looking back, I shouldn't have cut hair in my office. While cutting hair, other kids would peek through the window. That's why they felt embarrassed. I should have cleaned up an unused storeroom, covered it with decent curtains, and only used it for haircuts. To cut a child's hair once, you need to plan that much. Anticipate their embarrassment, analyze why they feel that way, and create a system to prevent the causes of their embarrassment. I blinked. So that's why a beauty room was created in the orphanage when I entered middle school? Yes. I assure you, it was the most beautifully decorated room in our entire orphanage. Yes. I remember how the younger kids enjoyed their time there. It's fascinating, isn't it? Something like smart, right? Yes, and also diligent. It seems like more than half of my personality originates from someone. Through the mirror, even Bae Hu Ryung seemed to have realized something. Remember this, Kim Gong-ja. Good deeds, virtue, cannot be achieved solely by good intentions. Instead, imagine you're planning something truly evil. Evil. When you want to help someone, plan as if you're going to kill them. In your mind. Snip. Murder doesn't just happen. It doesn't come to fruition just because you decide to do it, never. But if you must commit murder, what should you do? First, prepare the tools. And then? Decide on the place and time of the murder. And then? You need to learn the victim's daily routine. That way, you can commit the murder when they're most off guard and when there's the least risk of getting caught. And then? After the murder, you have to think about the body. Where and when to dispose of it. How to ensure it doesn't get discovered by others, preparing an alibi in advance. And if the police come to investigate, you have to plan your expression, face, gestures, and words. And then? Consider what to do if you get caught. Plan a hideout, a lawyer, defense arguments, or maybe a media strategy, psychiatric reports. Yes. Snip. Even villains put that much effort into a single act of evil. Kim Gongja, if you want to do good, you must be more thorough than villains. Creak. Don't expect your kind heart to conveniently make the world better. It's not the heart that brings miracles, but actions. Actions are better when they are thoroughly calculated, analyzed, and executed. Have you calculated thoroughly? Thud. Have you, in your sincerity and kindness, unconsciously or otherwise, overlooked the emotions others might feel? Thud. Have you considered potential adversaries who might disrupt your plans? Have you simulated everything from the most trivial to the most annoying situations? Do you know the identity of your enemies? What about the media? Public opinion? Your image? Thud. You need to be confident, Kim Gongja. Thud. Virtue is like water. But it's not a river that flows down from the mountain by itself, nor is it a waterfall that breaks everything in its path. If virtue is water, it's just a well. In times of drought and dry land, you have to break the soil and rocks to finally draw a bucketful from the well. Thud. Kill them. Thud. With the determination to kill someone, go and do a good deed. Thud. Then, only then. Thud. Those who join you will feel pride. Yes. Director. I understand well. Now, where to? Let's go do some good. Master. Heretic questioner. The preparation for the meeting is complete. Ahaha. Preparing in just one day was indeed a stretch. Over this past week, we mobilized everyone at the temple to set up the space. There are traders in the temple of 10,000. Did you consider that? Yes. I even baited them, thinking they might plant a bomb or something, but they didn't bite. They seem to be more thorough than I thought. Right. But they won't be as thorough as us. Ahaha. Of course. Good. Bambolini. Let's go. The security is perfect. Black Dragon Witch. I'm only telling you this, but the Black Dragon is actually composed of 4 separate organizations, each working independently. They compete and conspire against each other. I had each group alternately check the security, and promised to cut the budget of any group that found a loophole in half. They all searched with fire in their eyes, but not a speck of dust was found. Your way of working is still relentless. So what? That's me. Don't like it? Having a reliable friend like you is the luck of my life. Oh my. Thank you for being honest. The pleasure is all mine. Anastasia. Let's go. Your attire is the same as usual. It doesn't look messy. Crusader. Your hair also has a somewhat roughly trimmed feel. Are you really okay with that? The vast majority of the tower's residents are coming to see you, maybe to speak with you, and probably also to curse you. Director cut my hair. He often did when I was young. I plan to bring it up when the opportunity arises. This is the most comfortable for me. It gives me the most confidence. It feels like the warmth of the director's hands is still in my hair, naturally reminding me where I come from, where I am. It's comfortable. I wanted to meet everyone in the most me way. I thought I'd talk like this. Indeed. Is it intentional? Yes. A good strategy. Even better because it's true. You being from an orphanage is something you'll subtly yet powerfully imprint on people. It's quite effective given everyone in the tower has lost their homeland. Your origin as an orphan is a symbol of having lost everything from birth. But too much emphasis on it would backfire. Ho! My origin is just a small touch to spark a bit of empathy in the story. That's all. Dragging on about being an orphan would only tire and possibly annoy the audience. We, the people of the tower, despite having lost much, have ultimately decided to live in a new place. Right. A very valid point. I thought you were going to naively show a kind face at the press conference, but on second thought, you're not that type of person. It makes me trust you a bit more. Pioneer. We're not displaced persons, not refugees. Residents of the tower is too bland a term. People here, these individuals, need a name. From now on, I will refer to the people living in the tower as pioneers.
Ha!
The way a person is addressed can define their life. It changes the spirit with which they greet each day. The person who wakes up in the afternoon thinking, I am unemployed, and the one who rises at dawn thinking, I am a working professional, experience different days. These accumulated days shape them into different individuals. Count. We will be pioneers. Starting today. What should I say about that? That's a thought truly worthy of your real name. That's a very Kim Gongja-like statement. Let's go. Patricia. Nisha. I have decided to take charge of the security at the meeting place. Sword Saint. Since the deputy commander will be joining you on the stage to take questions, I will temporarily assume the role of the civil militia commander and oversee the security of the meeting place. Don't worry about any mishaps occurring as long as you are there. Thank you. Callenberry Nim. The body checks for everyone entering the meeting place are all done. Venomous snake. It's convenient using skills. Detection for weapons, explosives, poisons, just positioning those with such skills does the trick. You know? Even though tens of thousands were lined up waiting, as soon as our guys were deployed, everything was sorted. The world has indeed become a better place. For a while, there will be no internet connection in the vicinity. I asked the 9th in the rankings, Kwangyak Messenger, for a favor. Even if someone tries to secretly record, they can't broadcast it. In short, the meeting place will become like a deserted island. If the tower is an island isolated from the outside world, then within that island, we're creating another isolated island, aren't we? Hey, don't interrupt me. Anyway, yes. We collected all smartphones and recording devices at the entrance. Oh man, you should have seen how annoyed people were. Our civil militia folks were nearly dead on their feet. You, the Chenmumun leader, are only good for muscle work. We have to make use of you somehow. Are you trying to provoke a guild war or what? Look at him getting all high and mighty just because he sparred with Kim Gongja. Ah ha ha. Ha. No. Just happy, that's all. Let's go. Liao Fan. Oh wow. Leave it to me. Great. But, the number of people crowding into the meeting place is astounding.
Yeah.
The Babylon Square couldn't contain them all, so they spilled over into the alleys? Oh, really so many people? We've been focused on the preparations, so we didn't know how things were outside.
Yeah.
Just assume that almost everyone living in the tower has come. This is on a whole different level compared to when you first held a press conference. Thud. It makes sense since the general public is also allowed to ask questions. The fact that all of us are gathering in one place also adds a premium. The media have already been spreading ridiculous stories. Something about the 5 major guilds uniting into a single super guild. Thud. Ahaha, it's more relaxing if you think of it as heating the pan in advance. In case the meeting runs long, we've cleared all the buildings, residences, and hotels in the vicinity of the square. What's more, most of them belong to you anyway. Whether it's half a day, a full day, 2 days, 3 days, or even 4. Thud. Say whatever you want, Kim Gongja. Okay. We're always ready to support you. Everything is prepared. Now. Don't forget to smile, everyone. Even though it won't be recorded or remembered. From now on, we are talking with all the pioneers living in the tower. With respect. Politely. Even if they see us as demons, monsters, blackmailers, agitators, we will always regard them as individual humans. That's a difficult conversation. You say it so calmly. Really? Can we do it? We'll try our best. We'll give it our all. Okay. Good. Then, Bambolina. Yes. Master. Please open the door. Understood. Creek Dash. Chapter 285, The Last Vote, 6. Buzzing chatter. Buzzing chatter. Murmur, murmur. That person, it's awkward without cameras. Why aren't cameras allowed according to the rules? They are probably recording themselves, right? Planning to distribute the original source later? They said the meeting could go on for days. But if various information gets scattered all over the net, it would create chaos, so until the end of the meeting. Days? Is that possible? What about our sleep? Are we supposed to go home to sleep and then come back? I heard the 5-star hotels under Sunryan are all vacant today. Wow, really? Even the 7-star hotels are said to be empty. If you participate in the meeting, they offer a discount at 1/100 of the usual price, but I'm not sure if that's true. Someone go check during the break. Amazing. Kim Gongja must be a treasured asset to the giant guilds. Buzzing. Buzzing. What are you doing, Kim Gongja? Thud. You should be the first one on stage to greet and take your place. Why are you spacing out? There are no cameras to flash. Are you losing your mind because tens of thousands are watching you all at once? Well. These people are those I must work with in the future. Feeling a bit overwhelmed by the realization. Enough with the nonsense. Hurry up to the stage. Yes. I should go. I must go. Thud. Buzzing chatter. Thud. Buzzing. Thud. Buzzing. Ah. Ah. Actually, we don't need a mic test. What I'm holding now isn't connected to any wires. It would feel awkward to stand before you empty-handed, so I prepared this prop just to hold something. Right now, I'm speaking to you all in my own voice. Using my aura. It's commonly known as voice transmission, similar in principle to the lion's roar. I amplify my voice and spread my aura according to my voice, reaching out to you all. The voice you are hearing is not filtered through any machine, just my pure, unaltered voice. The face you are seeing has not been dressed up for any media, it's just my face. So, right now, you are seeing me. Good day, pioneers. Nice to meet you. Rank 2 Hunter, deputy leader of the demonic cult, Moon of the Ivantia family, head of the Death King family. Alias, Death King. I am Kim Gongja. Pleased to meet you. Ah. Not much response. Did I startle you with my sudden introduction? Today, I arranged this place to comfortably talk with you all. Some of my colleagues asked if it was really necessary, but I thought it was crucial. Despite your busy lives, I appreciate that you took the time to gather here. First, let me call my colleagues. Why didn't you allow cameras into the meeting? Thanks for the quick question. But first, let me introduce my colleagues. I'm John Siagu, a reporter from Hwanmoon newspaper and an owner of a title. Not only our media team's cameras but also personal smartphones, cameras, recorders were all confiscated by general members of Chinmumun. Many are curious and even worried about why such measures were taken even before the meeting started. The tyranny of the giant guilds has been an issue for a long time, but this meeting in particular seems to be fraught with notable risks. They say it's a communication with all the residents. The event only seems grand in its intention, but in reality, isn't it creating a blind meeting without leaving any record? What do you think about this concern, Lord Death King? Lord Death King. Please respond to the press's questions. Lord Death King? Are you listening? Please respond to the question. I was the one who did that. Yes? The camera equipment. I asked for a complete ban on bringing them in. The Black Dragon Guild was against it, but I persuaded them, and after persuading the other guilds as well, a mass return like this took place. So, does that mean the other guilds moved according to your will, Lord Death King? You said you are from the Hwanmoon newspaper, right? And you have an alias too? Yes, that's correct. You don't need to reveal your name here. You can mention your affiliation, but just saying which area of Babylon, which street, which building you live in, what you do for a living, is enough. You don't even have to mention anything at all. I banned the camera and recording devices not for myself, but for you all. What do you mean by that? There are so many of you gathered here, the likes of which we have never seen in the history of the tower. As I mentioned, I'm using voice transmission, and my aura consumption right now is enormous. That's how many of you are here. In such a moment. Suppose filming or recording were freely allowed. Those of you sitting in front or standing in the back, even those on the rooftops looking at me, everyone would be busy flashing their smartphones. Even the reporter who just asked me a question would surely be holding a camera in one hand. If you all do that, then I will start caring about the outside world. The outside world, you say? Yes. The people outside the tower who are watching us. If filming is allowed, it will flow directly to the outside world in real time. Why would that be? You, the reporter, should know. No. All of you gathered here know. When the outside world watches us, we first try to look good. Those who left their family behind would want to show that they are doing well. Those who were almost forced to transfer from their company's headquarters to here, to show that they are living as well as you. Refugees, minorities, etc., those who had a rough time in the outside world, would intentionally dress well to show off. That's how we are. I don't want to be like that. I don't want to be like that to you all. In a place where I came to talk to you, while listening to your voices, while looking at your faces, I don't want to be preoccupied with someone else. Someone whose face I don't know, whose name I don't know, someone I may never meet in my life. I am confident that it is not polite to you. Think about it, everyone. When was the last time we had a time, just for us? Through newspapers, broadcasts, personal broadcasts, the internet, communities, we constantly talk and draw attention to the events in the tower, argue and get heated up about them. Even though this place is supposedly eternally severed from the outside world, aren't we actually sharing our stress with the people of the outside world more than ever? We are living in the tower. And we will live in the tower forever. In this place, where once you enter, you can never leave. So, let's turn off our concern for the outside world for at least a moment. The voice you are hearing is my voice. I am not speaking to someone else, but to you. The face you are seeing is my face. I didn't dress up my face for someone else but you. Ladies and gentlemen. At least for this moment, I am only looking at you. Let's talk for us. Exactly. Over 100,000 smartphones were collected, wonder if we'll get them back properly. Just complain to Chen Mumun if not. His hairstyle isn't weird, is it? Lord Death King. Lord Death King. Hey, quiet down. If you have something to say or ask me, please raise your hand. Oh, just a moment please. It's not your turn yet. Don't worry. Right now, I have enhanced not only my voice but also my vision with aura. My sense of time is flowing 6 to 12 times slower compared to a human who cannot use aura. This is evidenced by the fact that I haven't stuttered or chewed on my words even once. Ahaha. There are many things you can do when you become skilled with aura. Good. There's no chance of missing the first person who raised their hand, or being unfairly skipped in turn. Since no filming is taking place, there's also no risk of your identity being exposed. Feel at ease. When it's time for questions, leisurely raise your hand. Now, let me introduce our colleagues. In order, the Black Dragon Guild's Black Dragon Witch, the heretic questioner of the 10,000 Temple, -. 7. Here's a question. A rookie secretly nurtured for a long time with the support of the 5 major guilds. There are widespread rumors that you are a manufactured star. Is this true? If you see my old apartment, you would know that's not true. My life turned around while scratching lottery tickets. Just that, when I used to think whether to buy an Americano or to buy a pack of stick mix coffee to make a meal with rice soup, now I can freely drink whatever bizarre concoction that can no longer be called coffee. I was just lucky. You all might also want to consider buying a lottery ticket once a week. Is that an advertisement to increase the sales of lottery tickets issued by the Merchants Union? I didn't mean it that way, but seeing the Count laughing next to me, maybe it does seem like that. I apologize. Since you rose to the 3rd rank, there have been rumors of you using your power for personal gain, bringing in acquaintances from the outside world. There are also stories about you communicating with a member of parliament from your hometown. Are you in contact with power players from the outside world? My official contacts are managed by the Black Dragon Witch. It would be better to ask her. Black Dragon Witch, what do you think? We are currently utilizing it effectively. I can't say more than that since it involves confidential information from various countries. However, one thing I can tell you is that we hardly inform the Death King of anything. Incredible. For your reference, the person the Death King brought into the tower is the director of the orphanage. This person has taken care of the Death King since childhood, akin to a parent. Think of it as him bringing in a parent to settle them in the tower. We would appreciate it if you viewed it that way. Yes, the director is the person who gave me half of who I am. The director also cut my hair today. Although reluctant, I had to push hard to make it happen. I plan to keep pushing hard for many things in the future. Thank you, Lord Death King. Yes. Is it true that you and the Black Dragon Witch are dating? I'm glad today is a public occasion. I still don't have the power to commit a public murder without facing any consequences. Please be grateful that I don't have such power and won't have it in the future. Moreover, please consider it fortunate that my one and only love is not present here today. Next. Lord Death King. Yes. There have been rumors and reports online saying that the Master of the 10,000 Temple refers to you as Master. Are the two of you dating? Is there a way to remove this person? Chapter 286, The Last Vote. 7, 1 end. It's a break time, but the crowd isn't thinning. Really? Look over there. The number of people in the alleys has increased. Oh my. We thought even if it went long, it wouldn't exceed 7 hours. This is evidence that the conference is a success. Isn't this good for you, Anastasia? You were so worried it might fail. It's a big deal because it's too successful. Right now, there are 13 B-rank hunters from Golden Newspaper Guild, clinging to the side, acting as batteries. They're exerting their aura to block external transmissions, and they're almost at their limit, I heard. Tell them to hang in there a bit longer. How much longer? Well, I saw someone setting up tents over there. At least until tomorrow? You crazy lunatic. I hear that a lot. Master. What's up? We distributed questionnaires to 100 people to quickly check the next set of questions, but they are too diverse. Some questions cannot be answered just by our guild leaders. What does that mean? It seems we should call people like Duke Ivantia or Chairman Simsalem. Hello, thank you for taking my question. I run a cafe at Babylon Crossroads and also do deliveries. The one you Suha always ordered from. Oh, no. Sorry. It's nothing. Please refrain from promoting your store and continue with your question. Yes. All right. My question is for the Death King. Recently, with the success of the raid teams, our tower's territory has greatly expanded. This happened with the Ejim Empire and now with the newly conquered continent. However, currently, the 5 major guilds are strictly managing access to these stages. Yes. Isn't that a monopoly? They're essentially monopolizing the resources of the new continent to strengthen their influence within the tower even further. I'll take this question. Raviol. Please continue. My point is, there are many small guilds in the tower, and some are just tiny guilds with only 3 members, like a small shop. It seems like such guilds hardly benefit from this, right? What benefits are you referring to? That's what I mean. Raviol. Raviol is too beautiful, looking at her can stun you. You need to be more considerate of the questioner. Indeed. Is that so? That's the point. I was too focused on my appearance and overlooked it. Yes. It's like not being able to look directly at the sun. I apologize. I was born and raised in the Empire, unaccustomed to such culture. In my mind, I view each of you as a baron or someone of equivalent status. A baron? I'm just a bakery owner, right? I know. But aren't you living a more prosperous and convenient life than a baron in our empire? We are different from you. Indeed, in many aspects. Just as you are different from the people outside the tower. Some of you may covet our empire's territories. There might be those who seek our interests. When forces collide, friction is inevitable, so I, along with the empire's nobles, are prepared. That means, for 12 years, we will drastically limit civilian exchanges. In the empire, we select students for study abroad and have already sent them to the 29th floor's Academy City. They will learn what is called public education and become familiar with your culture. Upon their return to the empire, they will take charge of negotiations. Until then, please wait. As a representative of the empire, I ask this of all of you. What if many cannot wait? Oh, I should mention my affiliation first, sorry. I'm a priest from 10,000 Temple. That's fine. Go ahead with your question. Yes, thank you. As you know, Duke, our tower's power is overwhelming. If we were to have bad intentions, for example, just as a hypothetical, there could be voices saying, let's make the empire our colony. I'm not making this up. There really are people who think and talk like this, whether jokingly or seriously. Reality can be harsh, can't it? So, you are mistaken. Pardon? Your premise is wrong. You are not overwhelmingly stronger than the empire. What do you mean? Even without bringing up technological advancement, if our hunters unite to attack. Why do you think that you will unite? Press. Death King will help me. Those who help the Death King will also help us. That alone already makes you what you call the 5 major guilds. The Asurus who regard the Death King as both father and friend will help, as will the races that form the Fire River Council with the Asurus. Look around. How can you talk about an overwhelming power difference? The term tower's power you mentioned is flawed. You should have said the evildoers of the tower. If that's what you meant, then indeed, the force you mentioned would be powerful. But as strong as they are, we are equally strong. Raviel. There might be those among you who cynically say the world has always been this way. While they color their day with cynicism, my wife, their enemy, has shed blood to build power. He has formed alliances, federations, and raised the current house regardless of race, nationality, or world boundaries, solely to confront them. So if you ask me whether the world has always been this way, I have no reason to engage with your answer. Is that the logic of the world you live in? How unfortunate. I choose to make my world where Death King is. My heart needs his voice to breathe. Yes. That's right. I'm on your side, Raviel. What? Forever. Aren't we all people of the same tower? I mean, haven't we been supporting the tower's conquests in every way? Although we couldn't physically join often due to ranking issues. I am Ukrainian. Anastasia. After coming here and establishing the Black Dragon, becoming one of the top guilds in the tower, many people I never saw before started coming around. Ukrainians telling me to stay strong together. If I had followed the logic of being from the same place, more than half of the Black Dragon's executives would have been Ukrainians. But I didn't do that. That's because. Yes. It's finally become bearable. So, shall we now create a nation called Tower Country, establish a nationality as Tower People, and build our tower? They kicked us out, and now they can watch us flourish. Now we're the ones who'll mock the outside world. No, we'll mock all worlds. Should we do that? I wanted to, but I won't. Though it's possible. Tell them to bug off.
Ah.
With the media blockade, life seems somewhat bearable. I should have asked the Golden Newspaper Guild to arrange something like this earlier. Really? It's about time to get rid of this personality that lives and dies by public opinion. That's also a part of Anastasia's charm. Shut up. Anyway, I don't want to. I'm fed up. I'm sick of it. I'm the Black Dragon leader, the third-ranked guild leader. I'll take care of my guild's people, look after those around me, and treat those who treat me as a human being with respect. How grateful am I that there are no language barriers in the tower. I pray every morning to some nameless being who tore down those damn barriers. Bambolina. I'm from Bulgaria. But I've never registered with any public institutions, nor have I ever received a passport. Technically, there's no way to prove my origin. So maybe I could also be from Serbia or Romania. I'm just the leader of 10,000 temple. Everyone, believe in your gods, but worship them in your hearts, and be careful not to fall into heresy. If you feel the world is testing you, knock on the door of 10,000 temple anytime. And they'll offer you espresso coffee. Liao Fan. I'm Chinese. Well, there are some from my hometown in Chenmumun. But the strongest is the best. The weak, whether from the continent, islands, or jungles, are just fit for cleaning the guild building. But then I found out that Death King is stronger than me, right? What can I do? As someone said, the world is harsh. I was born in Venezuela. Patricia. Even now, when I close my eyes, I can vividly recall my hometown. My village was beautiful, with charming dirt paths, no glass on the ground. When you stepped on it, you felt the earth beneath your feet. When I went to study in the city, I frequented bars on the streets at night. The old jazz, the worn pianos. I miss everything. But that's not all of my heart. Patricia? Why are you suddenly standing up? The food district in Babylon's 11th district is the best. The paella they occasionally serve there, though it lacks saffron, boasts a perfect taste. So much so that during the recent conquest, I thought of that restaurant 3 times. The owner is excellent. To the 17 heroes who opened a jazz bar in the 6th district, I salute you. 1 chamber orchestra and 11 quartets, I take off my helmet to you. Even though you failed in the outside world, how could you be so confident about succeeding inside the tower? Excellent. Bravo. Long live Little Venice. Who was that? The one who just mentioned the failed shop. If I catch you, you'll be subject to a civil militia search. Play the piano again. Goddess. Release an album, please. I'll buy 10 copies. No, I'll download it 10 times. The walking paths in the 7th district are truly a marvel, whoever created them. From what I've heard, a hunter ranked around 200 secretly dug up the path and created the garden at 4 a.m. every day. I can't reveal their alias, but they must have a lot of time on their hands. Brilliant work. Thanks to them, I now spend 1 day out of every 30 in that place. Respect. I love my homeland. But loving my homeland is just like loving music. If I love the tower, it's only because the music never stops here. One can't always love like jazz. Even songs need a break. But, damn it. Fine. This time, I'll establish a new guild called Black Knight with the Black Dragon leader and Death King. What? A guild? Yes. A music guild. A jazz guild. We're going to create an entirely new form of music called fire painting play. Damn it. If anyone who knew the old me comes to the performance, I'll kill them. I'll have them thrown in jail. God Almighty. The return of Little Venice. Are you finally taking off the helmet and armor? I love you, goddess. I've been waiting for you. Lady who walks the mirage. The lady who walks the mirage listens attentively to your words. Let's start the vote. The lady who walks the mirage asks if you are really sure about this. Yes. Not only the snails, but also the elves, mermaids, vampires, dream demons, pure race, goblins, and oni, and even we humans need to agree to ascend the tower. The lady who walks the mirage nods her head. The privilege of the pillar is activated. Changing the quests for the 48th and 49th floors. Integrating stages. Sequential layer progression. Even those living in the Aegean Empire. The old man who remains in the snowfields, guarding the pillar of his sect alone. And the girl sitting on the porch of an old Hannock house, gazing at the sky. All characters belonging to the tower are granted the right to vote. The vote is equally valid regardless of the stage. Huh? What's this symbol? Editing the conquest videos from the 30th to the 47th floors. The edited videos are played for those with voting rights. The lady who walks the mirage sends a message. I edited it moderately, so don't worry about secrets being revealed. It's a service. For us to be just us. Currently. The quest for the 49th floor is in progress. If luck is with us. The voting begins. Our next story will start at a higher stage than ever before. Chapter 287, 50th Floor, 1. The Black Dragon's ambitiously prepared first performance was a spectacular failure. This can't be. The Crusader covered her face in despair. Was it because they had practiced the fire painting play too zealously over the past month? Each gesture, each movement was infused with theatricality, making the Crusader's current pose a piece of art titled Despair. It was like one of those artworks that doesn't sell for even a gold while the artist is alive but becomes wildly popular posthumously. I wanted to do music again, but... Is this my own folly? The Crusader laughed hollowly. At her feet lay letters discarded like autumn leaves. Disappointed, worst ever, I don't know what sins my ears committed in a past life to deserve a performance like yesterday's. A salad of curses and contempt lay there. I shall retire. Death King, no, not as a musician. As a hunter. As a human being, I intend to retire from life. Wait. Yes, the ignorant masses can't understand us. The Black Dragon leader? Humans are all trash. They don't remember what they've done. Living like beasts, devouring their own past. Should we sacrifice for such beasts? Death King? Her eyes dangerously sparkled. Was Anastasia truly turning evil, or was she just exuding a final boss aura? Her laughter made me shiver. It was a sound reserved for true masterminds. Death King. You are no longer my master. The heretic questioner laughed. No. On closer inspection, it wasn't the heretic questioner, but a golden-haired Welsh corgi with the heretic questioner's hairstyle, basically, a dog. A dang dog was relentlessly drooling on my pants. I was born with the mission to guide lowly humanity. Woof. Now I understand why the gods of the universe whispered to me. I am the promised savior. Don't worry, woof. You will be specially confined in a private cell with 3 meals of premium jerky. Woof. What the hell? No, literally a dog? Hey, Death King. What is it, Liao Fan? Wait. Why are you holding my shiny sword and blushing?
Ah.
This is embarrassing to say, but Shiny declares it will speak. Shiny glittered brilliantly. I really named my sword well. Shiny announces that it and Venomous Snake have decided to date. Pardon? Shiny sings. Seeing its previous master safe and its current master finding happiness, it too wants to find its own joy. In the process, it observed this melancholy warrior and decided it must be by his side. You too, huh? I guess the genre of a heroine embodied in a sword does have a long and storied history. It's a pity this isn't the supreme Japanese katana, but that's just the everyday life I must endure. Insane. Venomous Snake was rambling on, and Shiny, acting like a teenager in love, was actually 10,000 years old and, well, a sword. I couldn't decide who was more of a bastard here. Was it me for thinking this, or were they really not bastards at all? Could it be that the whole world is full of bastards, and I'm the only one who isn't? At least, isn't it quite certain that the Welsh corgi-heretic questioner, who's still enthusiastically wagging its tail and rubbing its cheek against the hem of my pants while barking woof? Woof, is indeed a real bastard? Has my life come to this? Damn it. I turned my head away. Beihurayang was making a face as if he'd just swallowed a mouthful of potato soup. Hey! Hey! Even though I'm doomed to see all sorts of things in death, why do I have to be part of your ridiculous dreams? Huh? Please wake up, you zombie. Seriously, wake up. Open your eyes. Why? I'm enjoying the view. If you don't like my dog dreams, give me something. You devil. Wait, sorry. My apologies. Zombie, no, Gongja. Master Gongja, I was wrong. So please, stop including me in your dog dreams. Stop it. I'm not dancing to that tune. Damn it, just stop. All right. Let's start the day with Beihurayang's refreshing screams. Just wait until you reach the 50th floor. Oh man, just wait. I won't give you any advice and will just watch you fail. You've become arrogant because of your luck with the Constellation Killer, but the 50th floor is brutally tough. Later, even if you come crying and cling to my robe, I won't give you a single piece of advice.
Ah.
Such a sore loser. Look at your dreams. You're always having such absurd dreams. Ignoring Beihurayang's complaints, I descended the stairs. Oh, you're up, Gongja. In the basement, the Crusader was seated. She was fully armed in her armor, but her gauntlets were off as she fiddled with her smartphone. Yes, good morning, Patricia. Good timing. The Crusader smiled, lifting her phone. I was waiting for you to come down. Look at this. It's a hit. What is it? What else? The fire painting play. The reactions to our last performance are starting to surface. Oh. I suddenly remembered the dream I had today. The illusion of the Crusader saying she would retire because the performance was a disaster crept into my mind, making me uneasy. How are the reactions? Good? I approached to look at the smartphone screen. As the Crusader swiped, headlines flashed by. Great, indeed. The internet is going crazy. Can you believe it? Renowned directors are endlessly contacting me by email. Really? What a relief. It seems my dream last night was really just a dog dream. I read the headlines one by one, feeling relieved inside. Fire painting play, a dance genre that transcends physical limits. Dancers, directors, musicians unite. German master, this is jazz in the dance world. Every performance, a unique or a spectacle. Has the tower surpassed the old world in art? The reactions were overwhelmingly positive. A look of contentment spread across the Crusader's face. We even got a special feature article. After all this time ignoring me when I did jazz, now they make a fuss. Bittersweet. Just then.
Ah!
A scream echoed from the other side of the basement. The Crusader glanced briefly at the source of the sound, and I followed her gaze. There was a prison with iron bars. But the scream soon stopped. We nonchalantly turned back to our phones. Wow, these reactions are pretty incredible. What's this, Post? Times? Aren't these very famous newspapers? The fame is not just ordinary. Gongja, aren't you too disconnected from the world? Not only Anastasia but also I stayed up all night checking the internet reactions. I've realized how vain that is. Be careful. Getting hooked on others' reactions is a kind of addiction, an addiction. I know. But it's hard to resist the attention when, as an artist rather than as the deputy chief of the civil militia, I'm finally being recognized. Look at these comments and reviews, they're like drugs to me. Now you have to get used to it. Famous director and producer. From now on, this will be your everyday life.
Ha! Ha!
Our Black Dragon Guild leader's flattery skills are improving by leaps and bounds. Another scream echoed.
Ah!
We ignored it and continued to exchange pleasantries. This time, however, the screams persisted longer than before. Help me. Please save me. Stop it.
Ah!
Please, no more there. I confess everything. Please, don't leave me alone. Do you know who I am? Wait and see, once I get out of here. We blatantly ignored the cries. After about 5 minutes, the screaming subsided. In the meantime, we greedily consumed our egos from anonymous journalists and critics online. When our egos were about to burst from satisfaction, and when the Crusader and I were starting to realize how foolish it was to entrust our self-awareness to this tiny smartphone, clank. The prison door in the basement opened. Good morning. It was Anastasia coming out of the door. Huh? What's this? Gongja, you're here too? Yes, good morning. I waved my hand. Any success? Well, just so, I guess. It feels like all the information that could come out has already emerged. Anastasia yawned and staggered towards the pantry corner of the basement. She clumsily groped for a coffee filter. Ah, just sit down. I'll make it for you. Thanks. Anastasia looked visibly exhausted, with dark circles under her eyes, suggesting she had indeed stayed up all night. She gratefully accepted the chair I offered and sighed heavily. This is why I like married men. They have consideration and manners ingrained in them. That's a biased statement, Anastasia. Not all married men are like that, it's because I'm who I am that such consideration is possible.
Ugh.
What? That's annoying. For example, I know your favorite coffee is hazelnut latte. You like it hot with an extra shot. So, I'm making you a hazelnut latte instead of an Americano. Now, be moved. Huh? Annoyingly angelic. Anastasia sipped the coffee. Damn, it's delicious, she muttered reluctantly before speaking up. You were right in your prediction. I nodded. There were indeed traitors.
Yeah.
There were social groups within Black Dragon and 10,000 Temple. Anastasia pulled out a worn notebook from her pocket. Their official name is the Three Tower Society. The Tower of Babel is a miracle from God, and humanity must respond to this miracle by purifying the tower, is the belief held by this secret society, aiming for purification. And by purification, they mean? It's a more refined term for terrorism. Crazy bunch. With 2 high-ranking officials and 11 regular guild members, the group might not seem large. But if we hadn't discovered them now, they would have grown much larger later. Right. I took the notebook from Anastasia and flipped through it. The tower is the second coming of the once-fallen Tower of Babel, a chance granted by God to reach the heavens once again. Abandon the tainted outside world and establish a new kingdom within the tower, devote ourselves to making this place blessed. The current rulers of the tower are corrupt, and driving out these false rulers is our sacred mission. Whispers of fanaticism. The hastily scribbled words, read and reread several times by the notebook's owner, were smudged with fingerprints at the end of each sentence. I see. I swallowed hard. In the world shown to me by the Tower Master, this secret society was responsible for the death of the Black Dragon Witch and the Heretic Questioner. Maybe they started their activities around this time. Thinking of this possibility, I had secretly investigated, and it's good we found them now. A bad feeling always seems to be right. Dissatisfied with the current regime controlled by the 5 great guilds, those who combined social interaction and fanaticism had been lurking within, like malignant tumors. No. I can't take it anymore. Don't send me there. Don't leave me alone. And now the fanatics were locked in the basement dungeon, screaming. Anastasia grimaced slightly. The Dream Demon race helped with the interrogation, making it easier. We didn't have to see blood. In the past, heads would have rolled by now. How terrifyingly do you make them dream? Nothing special. Just dropped them into a white, endless plane, left them alone there for about 30 days in dream time. That's practically hell. Looking beside me, even the Crusader was shuddering. Among our members, all adept at tormenting people, Anastasia was in a league of her own. Anyway, thanks to you, we've cleaned house. Thank you. Anastasia set down her coffee cup indifferently. I'd like to ask how you found out, but it's not important. What matters is that we've eliminated a potential threat. Exactly. Good. Our leader. Another scream echoed from beyond the iron door. Anastasia linked her fingers and rested her chin on them, staring intently at me. We've dealt with the traitors and heretics. Everyone's attention was on the fireplay painting, so no one noticed. Having taken care of the aftermath so perfectly, I wonder what our leader plans to do next? Thud. I closed the notebook. There's only one thing to do. And then I declared. Tomorrow. I will ascend to the 50th floor. Chapter 288, 50th floor. 2. On a rainy morning, I ventured out to the plaza, my face concealed under a raincoat. From the hologram billboard set up in the plaza, an unfamiliar voice echoed. It was mine from a recording made 2 months ago. Yikes. My face flushed with embarrassment. Why does my voice always sound so weird? Damn. It gives me the creeps. I quickly fled the scene. As I left the plaza, I glimpsed my face in the hologram. There I was, speaking earnestly, every word clear and deliberate. Ladies and gentlemen, this vote is not just about whether to trust us, the 5 great guilds. It's about deciding the direction of our entire tower. Do we ascend to the 50th floor or stay here, giving up further exploration? It's a crucial decision. The hologram then showed scenes of Babylon Square bustling with people, ecstatic after casting their votes. King! 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 Indeed, you've just seen a video from 2 months ago, announced the announcer appearing on one side of the hologram. As you saw, the vote, held 2 months ago, passed with an overwhelming majority. It was almost a single decisive battle asking for approval of the current regime. Professor, the approval votes far outnumbered the disapprovals, didn't they? Yes, it seems Death King, our rank 2 hunter, has a positive image. He and his spouse are quite popular. Very popular. Yes, so it was kind of like a popularity vote. A popularity vote? That's how it had to be. Death King's appearance during the vote and Duke Ivancha's rebuttals were compelling. The farther I got from the plaza, the quieter the news became, and my embarrassment slowly subsided. I sighed and adjusted the hood of my raincoat. It's been 2 months already. 60 days since the vote. Time flies. During this time, I had been busy organizing the inner workings of the tower. Handling the 3-Tower Society, the fanatics in the Black Dragon Guild and the 10,000 Temple, was part of this internal reorganization. Now there's no risk of being stabbed in the back. Everything was ready. The likelihood of internal division within our tower was now minimal. As I stepped through puddles, breathing in the scent of the clouds, I headed towards the outskirts of the city. Welcome, Death King. Sitting in the middle of a desolate alley was the lady who walks the mirage. It's been a while. 2 months is just a blink. Were you waiting for me here? It was a deserted street. Long-neglected roofs failed to stop the rain. Water flowed through perforated pipes. The lady, crouching down, gently pressed her index finger against a rainwater drain. Yes. You were coming to find me anyway, weren't you, Death King? I anticipated your path and came here to meet you. It's raining, and there's no need to waste time. Indeed. I approached the lady from behind. The lady didn't turn to look at me. She continued playing with the water in the drain. As she moved her finger, the flowing water split into 2 streams. I suppose you're here to request the opening of the 50th floor? Yes. All right. I'm always ready to grant requests. But are you sure? You're alone now, Death King. Wouldn't it be better to be teleported with all your trustworthy comrades? I shook my head. No. When the 50th floor opens, other worlds will be accessible. Conversely, it means that those worlds could invade ours. All hunters, except me, will remain here to prepare for any invasion. The goblins, the Asuras, are already in full readiness. If any force underestimates us and decides to invade, thinking we're amateurs, they're in for a rude awakening. Very cautious of you. The lady stood up with a sigh. All the others are in defensive positions. You alone will act as a scout and venture into the 50th floor. After all, even if something goes wrong, you won't die. Exactly. All right. She reached out and grabbed my wrist. Now, you all graduate from the novice phase. The moment her damp palm touched mine, the sky above tore open. Krrrr. Violet lightning struck down. Once, twice, the thunder roared through the clouds. Even the clouds, swirling like armor made of steam, couldn't contain the thunder. Quor. Kurr. The clouds split into dozens, hundreds of ways, and purple thunder spread across the sky like capillaries. Novice protection measures are terminated. Thunder poured from above. Novice privileges are permanently revoked. The Lion World officially joins the common route. From this moment, the Lion World can freely traverse the 50th floor. From this moment, other worlds can freely traverse the Lion World. They vanished. The intangible walls that have protected us crumble. A world you sue.
Ha!
Never breached. I swallowed the rainwater seeping into my lips. A world where hunters like Constellation Killer roam, a world dominated by the Sword Emperor. Thunder struck again. Quarror. The sound was more massive than any lightning. The sky, from the firmament to the horizon, literally split in two. The clouds, even the relentless rain, were divided. Kurr. The split widened, growing bigger and bigger. Like an eggshell. Announcement to all. The sky was shedding its skin. The 50th floor is now open. Announcement to all, once again. The 50th floor is now open. Finally, beyond the fully opened sky, a scene unfolded that we never knew. The tower. A single tower rose like the world tree. Now, whenever you look up, you'll see that tower. The lady stood with me in the rain, looking up at the sky. In the mansion where the dolls sleep. In the Egyptian Empire. In the snow-covered martial world. From the library window. In Guru, where the goblins were born. Wherever you choose to be together.
Bye. Bye.
Death King. Survive. Drenched, the lady smiled. I'll wait for you on the 100th floor. I smiled back. Just as I was about to say yes. Entering the 50th floor. A blinding white light enveloped my vision. 4. I've been to the 50th floor before. A kind of trick, an unofficial cheat. But I remember it being quiet when I entered the stage. The warhorse of the eternal plains detects your arrival. This time was different. The warhorse of the eternal plains senses your constellation killer aura. The lone seeker of truth welcomes a resident of a new world. The lotus reflected on the water observes your sword. Before I could even open my eyes, my mind was bombarded with alerts. Familiar and unfamiliar titles sent messages, reacting to my official stage entrance. Quite a grand welcome. Then, Behurayang, who had been silent since the dream I had this morning, spoke lazily. Of course it's grand. You probably got flagged as a person of interest by almost all constellations. Huh? Why? Though there was a commotion here, that was undone by my return, making it as if it never happened. From their perspective, this should be their first time seeing me. It's true they're seeing you directly for the first time, kiddo. But just think about the antics you've been up to until now. The blinding whiteness slowly faded from my vision. What have I done to deserve this? First off, you killed the Apostle of Mahos. Not only did you kill him, but you also harvested his life with your skill and made him your subordinate. And you are the one who captured Constellation Killer, you know. Do you have any idea how famous Constellation Killer is among the constellations? He was considered the craziest of the crazies. And you caught that crazy. Wait. The constellations already know I've taken Kim Yul? That's nonsense. What I captured was just Kim Yul, and Constellation Killer's puppets should still be moving around just fine.
Yeah.
Maybe not everyone knows. But there must have been a few sharp ones. At least one or two would have been observing Constellation Killer continuously and figured out he was captured by you. You get what I'm saying? Be careful, wise guy. Thud. The first sense to return was my sense of touch. I had finished teleporting and felt the ground beneath my feet. You caught the Devil King of Fall Rain. Not just that, you gathered all of the Goddess of Protection and subjugated them. The corner librarian turned into an ordinary kid because of you. That's what you've done. A novice who hasn't even ascended the 50th floor yet. Behurayang chuckled softly. Normally, constellations, like game masters, should kindly guide you and provide quests, but you just broke and barged through them. Besides, nobody probably knows this, but you've even met the Tower Master. Huh? Even I find that strange. Finally, the landscape around me became clear. It's a peculiar situation. Now, zombie. It may be the first time these star freaks are seeing you directly, but wouldn't you be curious about such a crazy newcomer? Wouldn't you? I guess I would be. Of course, they'd be overflowing with interest. So what? I like getting attention. Don't worry. Be happy. Okay? Sorry, but that attention isn't the kind you think. My dear. And then. Constellations are like game masters, GMs. They create and give quests. Feel for yourself what happens when you catch their attention. I was teleported to the middle of a wilderness. In a place where strange monsters should roam, there was a bustling crowd of dozens of people. I would have liked to believe these people were hunters who happened to be out hunting monsters, and my teleportation here was a total coincidence, but at first glance, it didn't seem so. There he is. That's the guy. Because as soon as they saw me, they pointed at me. Finally showed up. Everyone, prepare for battle. Moreover, each of them was holding a gruesome-looking sword. Seeing the pointing fingers and drawn swords, it's difficult to dismiss everything as mere coincidences. And certainly, it was no different for me. What is this now? Without a moment to relish the feeling of finally arriving at the 50th floor, I quickly drew my holy sword. Surrounded already. Over 20 people had encircled me. The warhorse of the Eternal Plains issues a quest to its followers. You have been targeted by the quest. The quest is now public. Then, an absurd text scrolled across thin air. Plus. Hunt down Death King. Difficulty, unknown. Mission objective, Death King is a newly registered human from the Lion world. Before even entering the common route, Death King dared to oppose the warhorse of the Eternal Plains by massacring the Apostle of Mahos. Warriors. The warhorse of the Eternal Plains commands you, its brave followers, to hunt down Death King. Seize the opportunity to ambush him as he just arrives on the 50th floor. Please be cautious. Death King is fearsome and cunning. He is a heretic who stops at nothing. He is also the evil leader commanding hundreds of fanatics. However, do not fear, warriors. If you attack him while he is still unfamiliar with the common route, you have a chance of success. The warrior who kills or captures Death King will receive the Apostle's blessing from Mahos. Note, you cannot participate in this quest. You are the target of this quest. Dumbfounded, my mind went blank. Me? Fearsome and cunning? A heretic who stops at nothing? Who are they talking about? I don't know such a person. Is this some kind of error or misunderstanding? It's not a mistake. You're a part of the demonic cult, aren't you? To those who don't know you, you're definitely a heretic. But since when have I been the evil leader commanding hundreds of fanatics? That's a plausible description, isn't it? You're the deputy leader of a cult. In fact, you're practically the heavenly demon, considering everything.
Ha!
Just the name sounds like a bad guy. No. What nonsense is that? Don't let your guard down. One of the hunters, a resident of another world who received this ridiculous quest, shouted. Mahos himself has forewarned us. Don't be fooled by his appearance similar to ours. He's a demon among demons, a beginner not to be underestimated. Draw your swords. Draw swords. Attack. The encircling hunters charged at me, all at once, shouting in unison. I raised my aura to prepare for combat, but couldn't help but scream out. Wait! I'm not a bad guy. I'm actually more of a good guy. This quest is a lie. How can they blatantly lie in a quest? Hey, everyone. This quest is not telling the truth about me. It's no use. Bei Hurayong snickered. Quests are at the GM's discretion. Remember the quest that the Devil King of Fall Rain gave you? It's no wonder Constellation Killer went around killing constellations. Then what should I do now? What else? Fight. Bei Hurayong laughed gleefully. Welcome to the 50th floor's world of manipulation and distortion. Good luck, Your Highness. Damn it all.